There's no such thing as an organic sale on Amazon that came from Facebook that you can attribute with any metric with proof in the world. It does not exist.
Having said that, a solid nCAC, a blended nCAC between all the different platforms. I mean, obviously, people are making less money. I mean, if you're using Seller Central, Vendor Central, I'm probably a little bit less familiar with on that side, but I have to assume that still Amazon is taking their cut. So if you're making like a 30% margin, like in an ideal world with an nCAC at $15, let's say, or probably not at $15. It's probably going to be less than that, but you're still giving half of that away to Amazon. So you have to be comfortable with that, but you're acquiring a customer, which is owned by Amazon first. Then the key is, and we've talked about this, we had a couple of calls on this week. It's like, then you need to transfer that initial customer back to your site so you can get them, especially if you have a CPG product or a product that's going to be purchased multiple times, or you have complementary products that you can cross-sell, upsell, you name it, and get them off Amazon and over on your site where you're making more money. Exactly.
So, and it's always it is a, how to describe this? It's not attribution. There's no such thing as an organic sale on Amazon that came from Facebook that you can attribute with any metric and with proof in the world. It does not exist. So that's the part too, where if you're saying, hey, why did someone walk in?
That's what you always say. Contribution, not attribution. Just explain that. Like, that's a great thing for a lot of these people that are watching to just keep in mind. Yeah.
So attribution is what took credit for the sale. Contribution is that credit true? So what I would say is, like, I bought Brawny paper towels from Target. Which meta ad did that?
Or maybe it's the TV ad or the CTV ad, or just the fact that they've advertised enough in the past and you just know them and you like guys in flannel shirts. Which you probably do.
Exactly.
Large lumberjacks and flannel shirts. So, like, that would be your brand. Like, I don't know. But
So,
name me the exact TV commercial that prompted you to buy. That's attribution. But what you're saying is, like,
maybe not.
I don't know.
Actually might be more contribution. Like, that's what's great.
That's contribution. Actually, that was my point. That was what I was getting to.
Yeah, it's like, it will never attribute, but it did contribute. So your meta ad that is actually bringing people to the local store to buy the product because it's new and exciting and they just found out about it and they found a retailer close to them will have all of the contribution and zero attribution, because you cannot attribute an in-person sale on a third-party retailer in physical properties based on a meta ad that's only counting the sales on Shopify. However, you laugh, but every client wants to know why that can't happen.
I know. I can think of a half a dozen.
Exactly. So the contribution means that something can contribute to a sale, even though it didn't attribute the sale. Now, the flip side to that attribution would be something like brand. So I have 100 people that search my brand name and 100 clicks and 100 sales with a 100% conversion rate. Now, that is attribution. Now, did we believe that the brand campaign started a person on their journey to wake up that day, type in that perfect brand name, and have a 100% conversion rate?
Of course,
no. Exactly. And that is attribution, which means brand attributed $10,000. Did it contribute? Actually, no. It had a contribution margin in the negative, technically, because if you think about the CPA on your brand, is contributing to a negative contribution margin because that sale most likely would have happened, but it didn't happen because it happened in spite. And so you're adding cost to something that would have happened anyway. And that is where you have amazing attribution at 1,000 ROAS, but it didn't contribute anything to your nCAC. It actually made it higher.
Right. And that's what I think one of the big, we're going to get to the questions here because we've got a lot packed up.
And I just have one screenshot I want to share.
Yeah. One last question for you on this is that one of the biggest things that I think you and I see whenever we analyze any sort of ad account is that people are typically, especially if they have an Amazon agency, they're overspending on Amazon on the brand side when they don't have to. And I think your screenshot that you just showed 5 or 10 minutes ago sort of shows that. I don't know if that was that specific case. I forget which example we've used. Is that you can overspend on brand, and that's wasted spend. And if you actually take that away and you continue to spend on the top line awareness, sort of consideration, maybe on Meta or maybe on YouTube or whatever it happens to be, you can actually increase your MER because you're spending less on Amazon on searches that people are doing anyway, and they don't need to click on your ad. They're just going to find it organically once they search for it because they're aware of it because they saw it on another platform.
Right. That's exactly right. And so that's where, if we're going to try to say the place that the person bought it from, that's what contribute. That is what most people do. And that's where they say, I don't know what the Amazon team's doing over there, but they got tacos and they got ASINs. I'm like, okay, explain that. Well, it's a total actual cost of sale of a product. I'm like, well, what did they search? Well, I don't know. Was it your brand? I don't know.
No idea.
Yeah, kind of got it, because right now I'm getting grilled between my click-through rate on my brand product, but we're spending 100 G's on that same campaign over there we have no idea of. And so that's where we always have to keep that kind of like that full circle of where is every dollar going? Is it actually contributing, or is it doing a good job of attributing? Agencies will take all the attribution in the world as you crumble your business into the ground because they're getting paid full price. But if they're not contributing, the client is the one that gets hurt. So if we're looking at this in a before and after scenario, that was where we're looking at January 1st in that sheet. And this is the before and after, and it's as white labeled as I could possibly get it here off a screen, where like the full name is gone. But this right here of January is where we started with them. This is month one. So we're looking at a time where they were down 40%, down 43%. This is September 23 to September 24 as an example, like down 23%, down 4%, down 10%, down 17%, 1.1% when they hired us. And then it's up 24%, up 70%, up 139, up 119, up 73, and up 77. So as soon as they hired us inside of January 1st, which is exactly this date here, we can kind of see going to yesterday and comparing that to the previous year, we have a nice like wedge of year-over-year performance. So orders up 35%, return customer rates down 8% for 100% more gross revenue. This is where it is being contributed to. That is where we're driving the traffic to. However, there is a massive amount of bleed to the people that are going to Amazon, because you'll never convince me in a billion years that a person's like, man, I really want that product and I will never go to Amazon. They didn't grow to 4/10 or 40% of all online e-commerce transactions because people avoid them. They are flocking to them. And every time they flock to them, it comes out of your Shopify account. We're still up 100% over there. Now we got to measure the contribution to Amazon sales. And that's where we're getting into nCAC globals.
Great. Pay attention to Amy Gimbel the last 5 minutes or so, because that is a killer case study. And the question people will have is, well, it goes up, John, but then it comes down. But remember, even though this is a $42 NAOV, I forget exactly what the AOV, let's say it's NAOV is $42. It's still, you say it takes about 28 days from first impression or first click. I assume it's probably one or the other to purchase, this is not a huge cart. Like it's $42, but people are still shopping around. This is a highly competitive space. We're not going to say what space it is, but a lot of competition here.
Well, this product's also cheaper on Amazon than our own website.
That's a whole other. Okay, that's why I'm flying out to LA next week.
Could I share screen again here for a moment? Just for 2 seconds. When you said it goes up and comes down, I do want to make mention real quick.
Sorry, we're a little slow on the old like 1996 MacBook Pro here.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I'm on my backup. Anyway, I guess you don't have producer privileges.
No, I think I somehow
there we go. I don't know. You lost them somehow. Yeah, you were.
I have no idea.
All right, here it is.
I think I've been banned. Okay, cool. So let's do it.
StreamYard.
Right. So
he talks too much.
Here, right. So you got a massive scale from 14 to 185 up to April, and then a back down of about pullback of 60 Gs starting in May, and then held that in June. And so we're looking at the metrics here. Let me pull this up. This one here, we have that massive scale in April. That was 140% increase year over year. And then it went down to 119 and went down to 73. That was a decrease. Now, you'll see it drop down over here, but that's just because we're only 1/3 of the way through July and we've made 40 grand. So 1/3 of July and 40K, you got to multiply it by 3 up to 120. What was last month? 120. We're still on track for the same pace.
Right.
So that's what's really nice. But the AOV right now is up 20, 15, 26, 50, 31, 13, and 52. So we're still, we're 52% higher average order value. Now we're up to $40. Where it was last year at 26. So that is also making sure that we're focusing on the right products, the right NAOV for a mass amount of new customer sales, even though we're hemorrhaging 60% of all sales that we probably would have attributed over to Amazon. But you have to take a look at that too.